How would you approach these business owners to get them to agree? Because let's face it, most small business owners, they don't understand content. They don't understand podcasting. They're like, what do you mean? You want to interview me for what? How would you approach that?
That's such, I mean, so if I'm Evan Carmichael, the real estate agent, and I'm starting my show and I cater to the North York community, micro niche inside Toronto, I'm calling people and saying, hey, it's Evan Carmichael. I am a real estate agent and I'm the host of the North York business talk show where I interview entrepreneurs in North York about their experience. I love what you're doing. I see all these crazy reviews about you on Google and Yelp. I love to come in and for half an hour interview you about your business and your story to share it with my audience. Who's going to say no to that? An entrepreneur who's trying to get business.
Yeah.
And why I would go podcast first is because the numbers, you can hide the numbers. You don't see the downloads. You don't know how many people listen to the episode. Where if YouTube, you go there, they're going to be 50 views on your video. People may not want to be on as much. Now you can use ad spend against that to boost up numbers anywhere. But I would say Facebook next before YouTube, because Facebook ads are cheaper to get views than going to YouTube. And you can also better target. Like you could target, if I did that interview with the entrepreneur, I could target other North York people who are entrepreneurs who are in the age range of 35 to 60 and show them this video. Yeah. So it's mixing what you already know, which is advertising, and just doing it in a smarter way, because when you layer content with your advertising instead of just selling, you perform way better. And this is for anybody. Again, we're talking real estate agents in a local market. If you want to blow up and change America, let's talk YouTube. But this is how you do it. So I would love it to be a video podcast. Right. You take the video and put it to Facebook. Video adds another element of complexity, which then people have more resistance to. Not your guests, you. Right. You don't want to do video because you don't know what camera to have, and you don't know how to set up. You don't know who you have to bring on to help you. And there's just a lot more layers of complexity. This is why you're so great with you have a script and a phone call. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Like there's no complexity. You don't need to buy some fancy gear. Do you have a phone? Yeah. Can you get this script book that I've got? Great. You're in business, right? That's right. Yeah. So that's where podcast is much easier. Even though I'm the video guy, I would buy a microphone. That's all you need. Like that Blue Yeti. Why the Blue Yeti is so great is it plugs in the computer, but also it can pick the voices from both sides of the microphone. So the microphone I'm using here is only one way, where that one has a dial, and on the setting, you can have it pick up from both sides. So if you're sitting across the table from somebody, it could pick both of you up pretty cleanly. That's right. Then all you have to do is show up with the micro, and it looks professional. That's like a $90 mic or something. It's not going to put you out of business to buy a Blue Yeti microphone. And then you show up with your laptop, and then you start recording. And the whole point of it is just biz dev. Right. It's to get to know this person, to have them love you. And then at the end, what you say is, hey, are there any other entrepreneurs you know who you think would be a good fit for my show? It's great. And then you go and you book them on your show. Yeah. Right? I love it. In the course of that, like you're not trying to hide the fact that you're a real estate agent. I'm a real estate agent who has this show called North York Entrepreneurs. Right? So it's up in front. And then what's going to happen is if you've asked them all these questions and they've just gushed their story, they're going to ask you, well, why do you do what you do? How did you get into real estate? And now you get a chance to tell your story. Like this is personal relationships, business development. You're going to get all their friends to be on the show as well. And again, with the exact community that you want to be targeting. Then if you have, again, some kind of video capability, and that becomes a Facebook video, but it could also just be an audio Facebook that you turn into an audio. Like you have just a clip, like a picture as the video, picture of you and them, or picture just of them. And then you run that video ad against all the people who you're trying to target in your community. So let me unpack some of that really quick. So this is what I talk to my students about. With a strategy like that, because the question I always get is like, okay, I got it, but
they're not really getting it. So let me kind of walk you through, I guess, my perspective, and I want your feedback on it.
Yeah.
So the game here is you go grab the local restaurant owner that everybody knows, just like to your point, right? So they take Evan's Carmichael's advice. They start the podcast. Hopefully it's a video podcast. They go shoot this podcast at the local restaurant that every single person knows exactly what restaurant that is. So just like, here's a great example for everybody watching. Just like I'm doing with Evan, because I'm hoping to pick up on Evan's audience, you're going to do the same thing with the local restaurant's audience. So they say, okay, whoa, the owner of the popular restaurant downtown just did an interview. I want to watch that. These are new eyeballs of people you don't know as a realtor now watching you. Just to your point, Evan, you talk about you being a real estate agent. You're starting to build this awareness and a new audience. Would you agree?
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
what we're talking about here.
And what I want is I want that restaurant owner to talk about me.
Yeah.
What other real estate agent came in and gave any kind of value to him in his entire life?
Yeah.
Nobody. I mean,
Nobody.
That's a great thing. It's like, it's pretty low bar, unfortunately, right? Like if you think about what is the current perception of real estate agents, it's not going to be overwhelmingly positive. Like, oh my God,
right.
My real estate agent is just amazing. So that's great. It's a pretty low bar, especially in smaller cities. You could easily stand out. You're the only one who's ever brought them. Like my real estate agent here, way back when I first got my first condo, and I was renting the condo because I wasn't sure if I liked condo lifestyle or not. So we started by renting, and my freezer was leaking. I didn't know why.
Yeah.
And so I messaged Mark, my real estate agent, and I said, Mark, my freezer's leaking. What? I'm the least handy person alive. I don't know what's wrong with it. I said, do I talk to my landlord? He's like, you know what? You don't want to bug your landlord on something like this. You know, if place is burning down or something big, you just want to have a good relationship with your landlord. Let me come over. I'll take a look. So he came over and fixed it and showed me what to do if it ever happened again. I've been with Mark ever since.
That's right.
Ever since, like that one 15-minute trip to come over to my place to fix my freezer. Now I'm with him for everything.
And you're talking about Mark on this show.
Here we are. Mark Houlihan in Toronto, Canada. He's amazing.
There we go.
Right?
See that?
And so that's the process. Now, if Mark did something to help my business, right?
Yeah.
If Mark wanted me on his show when I was first starting up, right? You just are the one that everybody talks about, and you want the people in your community talking about how great you are and how much you care about the community.
Yeah. So that's a really good point, because there's a lot of influencers in the real estate space that try to convince realtors to, YouTube. They're trying to sell them courses and stuff. But I would agree with you, the local niche market, there's not a lot of traffic on YouTube, so to your point, I love the podcast and Facebook because it's so hyper targeted. And then once you have the video content, to grow the audience, would you promote the video through some Facebook ads? Because video ads are so cheap on Facebook, or walk us through that to kind of expand your reach.
Yeah. Cheap. Well, so first off, recognize that even if nobody sees the video, it's still value because of the relationship you built. This is a biz dev thing. This is not just, I'm going to put stuff up and I hope somebody notices me and they sometimes buy from me, right? Like this is flat out biz dev.
Yeah.
More effective biz dev because you're actually leading with value instead of just trying to sell them something, right? You're giving them something that they care about. They may not be ready to sell their home right now, but they definitely need business help and promotion right now. There's no entrepreneur who's not in need of marketing support right now.
Well, and that's the thing, right? So agents, real estate agents, they have no problem, Evan, giving Zillow $5,000 a month because they want now business. They want instant gratification. And what they don't understand about content is the longevity of that work, because they say, okay, well, Evan, I'm going to go shoot the interview with the local business owner, but I don't get to sell a house from that today. So then they deem it not valuable. Can you help change the mindset of understanding content creation holistically?
You don't even have to understand content creation. You just have to understand relationships. Like if that's your mindset, you don't know how to be a great real estate agent.
Yeah, great point.
It's a relationship business.
Yeah.
That's like, you just don't understand the market that you're in.
Yeah. Great point.
So I'm helping you build relationships. I'm biz deving you into great relationships.
Yeah.
Right now, that alone is value. Just having a conversation, telling their story, and them feeling like, holy cow, this real estate agent actually cares about me, is already going to get you more sales than everybody else. And that's just a super quick investment of time by calling somebody up and then doing a 20-minute show with them. Right.
Yeah, it's great.
And a show, again, doesn't have to be fancy. Don't think like CNN. It's you showing up with your laptop and a Blue Yeti microphone.
Yeah.
And you go to their office. You don't need to have a studio. You just have to figure out how to press record on your computer. That's it. You got a show, right? Yeah. That's your show.
It's great.
If you want to level it up, then you layer the advertising on top of it. You go to Facebook, you pick your target. I like working with 35 to 60-year-old men who are in this geographic area. That's my audience. Great. You then show them the content. And again, it's you. I'm Evan Carmack. I'm the real estate agent who loves my community of North York so much that I'm making this show to try to profile what we're doing and how great North York is.